Good evening and welcome to the Vigilate Dialogues. I am your host, Shaina Smith, welcoming you to the National Boardroom. Tonight, our guest is President Shaina Smith, the president at the Lavity Stoutt Community College, who is going to share with us very important information about our higher education institution and the importance of it in the development of our country. President Smith, welcome to the National Boardroom.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So let's start off with the history of the college, because there are some persons I don't know if they know, how it came to be. I think we celebrated about 25 years. 25 years a few years ago. And also your role at the college since its inception and what you're doing now.
Well, my role goes back to the mid-'80s, actually, before it started. Community college happens to be my background. I'd been working in community college for many, many years. And so when I learned that the Chief Minister Stout was at the time considering a community college, I sent him a note and said, I'd be happy to help since that is my background. And of course, he picked me up on it. And invited me down, and we talked about it. I think at the time he had the slogan, where there's no vision, the people perish. Okay. I think was the slogan he was using at the time. And trying to get that word across, trying to explain to the community what a community college did, what its role would be. In fact, I remember doing a presentation to Rotary up at Treasure Isle about what the strengths and weaknesses of it was, what the possible fit was with this community in particular. And we went from there. Okay. So I worked initially as a volunteer for several years, and then was on the board for one term as deputy chair, and then my role turned into a consultant role. Okay. So I've been a consultant for many years with them.
And I believe you played a role with the accreditation process?
I did. I'd been a reviewer there are 5 reviewing agencies, accreditation agencies in the country. And the one that we're currently accredited by is Middle States Commission on Higher Education, which is the same agency that accredits the U.S. Virgin Islands, UVI, and schools in Puerto Rico. So, and that agency, particularly that accrediting agency, accredits, not all the agencies accredit schools outside the country.
Okay. As far as the international.
Exactly. Okay. And so it was a logical one. I think there's one other. And so we went through the whole process of self-study. It's a lengthy process. So it actually took us about 9-10 years. Oh, wow. To get there. It is, but it's complicated. Okay. Especially going through it the first time. Okay. And I'd been a reviewer with one of the other agencies, Middle States and then Southern Associations, the other one. And so was able to lend a hand in helping them improve some of the systems that existed that would then meet the requirements for accreditation and go through the self-study process and drafting the reports based on what department heads had written. We had committees and all of that. And yes, we did get accredited a year ago. Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Didn't realize it was that long or that lengthy a process, though.
It is, for a first time.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the accrediting agencies, the maximum you could be accredited is 10 years with a 5-year review process once you're accredited. Okay. But in order to get accredited, you have to first of all, go through what they call the eligibility standards, and that takes a couple of years. And then keep in mind, because we weren't accredited before, we were trying to put systems in place that would get us accredited. Okay.
And how do we go ahead in terms of maintaining our accreditation?
We're on a schedule. In fact, the requirements for accreditation for Middle States have just changed. So whereas we would have got a visit in 5 years or thereabout, that we're now on a different cycle. Okay. So, as they refine that process of resetting who's going to be scheduled when, then they'll confirm our date. Okay. But it'll be at least 5 years.
In 5 years. Yeah. Okay. Great. So what's happening up at the college? I see a lot of banners in town. I'm very impressed to see all the graduates from our community college that are the movers and shakers, I would say, currently in our society.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't quite realize, and it was probably an eye-opener for many. My anticipation was they would see faces and think, I didn't realize that person went to community college. Okay, but keep in mind that the college is in two parts, basically. We've got a transfer curriculum where you do the first 2 years of a 4-year degree, and then you transfer to a 4-year institution and finish. We have a number of articulation agreements that allow our students to go back and forth. Even in the absence of those articulation agreements, our students have actually done very well when they transfer. Most of them transfer after they get an associate degree. Some transfer before they get an associate degree, and really haven't had a tremendous amount of difficulty getting their credits transferred. Okay, we've got that. In the States, that's usually referred to as a junior college. Some junior colleges stand alone, some are part of community, it's part of the community college rule. The other part of the other mission of the institution is not only transfer, it has to do with making sure that people have the skills that enable them to go to work, go directly to work. A business program, for example, has accounting, marketing, finance, and a person can graduate with an associate degree and get a job, or they can transfer. Okay, so that's one of the programs that's kind of two parts. In fact, that's our strongest program, and it is the one that's in two parts, that has both features to it. But the other part is where any adult, anyone, is recognized that they could do better on a job, and they can come to the college and take some courses that enable them to advance on a job or change jobs or simply do better.
So this is about career development or professional development.
Exactly. Exactly, it is. And that's a pretty, for community colleges, that is a strong group. One of the issues with the banners, and we'll do that again, but I think we'll do it a little bit differently. Most of the people on the banners right now, you refer to them as movers and shakers, are people who transferred. There are a couple of people on there. There's a chef on there. There's a boat captain on there. There's a security owner, a small businessman on there. Those are people who, they didn't transfer, but they nonetheless doing extremely well. Yeah, and I think one of the messages I wish was stronger in those banners was that we had more of those people who recognize that the community college is geared to their needs as well, and not just to the needs of people who want to transfer and be a doctor or be a lawyer, or, I mean, that's good. That's half a role, but we've got the other role as well. So, and businesses as well. We'd like businesses to see us as a place where they can call and says, you know, I've got employees, banks, let's say. I've got tellers that need training, and we could customize training to fit their needs, their schedules. Yeah. A community college should be very flexible in terms of serving whatever needs there are. Yeah.
So, perfect segue. In terms of, you've assumed the role of president, I think that was this year?
This year, that was August 1st.
Okay, so what is your vision for the community college? Where would you like to see it be headed to in the next 25 years?
Well, I'm not going to be there for 25 years.
Well, we know you're not going to be there, but you know, now is the time in terms of where that foundation is going to be laid. You know, that's going to take it into the next decade or two.
Yeah, my tenure at that college is for a year. Because we'd look for a permanent president. In fact, we're currently in the process for looking for a permanent president. And so my vision for that college this year is really no different than it's always been. But yes, because I'm on site, there are some things I could do right now. One of the things I would want to see happen is that program that is more open to everyone else other than students gets transferred. I'd like to see that grow. I'd like us to see us do a much better job of meeting the needs of the industries in a less conventional manner, in a less associate degree manner, the more customized fashion, that we're out into the community where people are, not necessarily just up at Parakeeta Bay.
Okay.
But our sense of access to everyone.
So you mean in terms of actual on-site training?
Yeah.
In terms of in businesses or companies?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
That's the part that I would like to. We're doing very, very well with our transfer curriculum. We've been very successful. I think that we could grow immensely in the other area.
Okay. So what are the plans in terms of moving that forward?
It's hard to do a lot in a year. It's hard to do a lot in a year.
I imagine.
Yeah, except particularly encourage the senior staff especially to recognize the role that they play in that regard. You know, our workforce programs, we have a dean for workforce programs that's responsible for that. We envision growing for example, the whole maritime industry is an industry where there are jobs out there. The tourism industry is linked very closely to that. Hospitality, those kinds of areas that support our own economy would be areas that we need to be much more flexible in the way we respond. We will grow those areas, and we're trying to grow those areas. Right now, we're awaiting results on an OCS project. One of their projects has to do with 9 community colleges in the region who have selected a specialization. Our specialization happens to be marine management, boat building, and repair. Okay. And in a month or so, we should have a definitive answer on funding related to that. Okay. Related to that area, so we can. But we're kind of already getting started in that area. Of course, we've got the Marine Center that we've had for many years. But you know, try to develop that significantly more than it is right now. Okay,
awesome. Well, we're gonna take a commercial break right now and come back and let you tell us some more about our community college. If you just tuned in, you're tuned in to the Vigilate Dialogues. I'm your host, Shaina Smith, and with me I have President Janet D. Smith, President at our community college, the HL Stoutt Community College at Parakeeta Bay. And we'll get a word from our sponsors and be right back. Good evening and welcome back to the Vigilate Dialogues. I'm your host, Shaina Smith, and with me I have the president of the Lavity Stoutt Community College, Dr. Janet D. Smith, with us. And we've been talking about our higher education institution. I know, you know, sometimes persons feel like when they hear the word college, there's a certain perception about what a college offers and what it does. So I heard you mention earlier about the difference between a junior college and a community college. So I'm going to ask you to explain to us the difference even between those two and a university. Because at one point we had the Community College of the Virgin Islands, and then they moved on to being the University of the Virgin Islands. And I know sometimes persons are thinking maybe are we looking at that same model, or what would be the difference between, you know, remaining a community college versus being a university?
Yeah, actually, University of the Virgin Islands was originally College of the Virgin Islands, I believe. Yeah, I was there the first year. It was just a college. Yeah, most of the difference between a college and a university tends to be size and programs. Okay. More focused on liberal arts, a college more is, and then there are a lot more majors in a university, and they tend to be a lot bigger. That's the big difference. A community college is quite different. Well, you think about a community college in 2 ways. It has 2 missions. One has to do with enabling students to complete the first 2 years of a university. When they're separated, that program is typically carried by what we call a junior college, as opposed to a senior college. Okay, which is the other 2 years, the second 2 years. A community college, on the other hand, carries both the transfer to university, those first 2 years, and then transfer to a university, as well as what we call a workforce program, which is designed to send people, to allow people, to prepare people to go to work.
So a college, then you're saying is different to a community college?
Definitely, very different. Colleges are typically 4 years. Okay. They're just smaller in size. They tend to be focused more on the liberal arts. Okay, a university tends to have a lot more professional
So
programs,
and
it's also 4 years.
Okay.
Right, right. Whereas a community college carries both.
Okay.
The first 2 years of a university and programs that enable people to go to work directly. Okay.
Okay, so that's the difference now between what happened in the U.S. Virgin Islands versus what we chose to do here.
It got smaller and it got larger than a college, and it expanded its programs, so it became a university.
Okay. So here in the BVI, are we seeing ourselves moving towards that, or what was the intent? Because you've been around since inception.
To my knowledge, the intent was to be a community college.
Okay.
I know that there are some people who think that it should be a university. And the answer is not that simple. The issue is fit. The issue is, what does the community need?
Okay.
Okay. Do we need a 4-year program that offers bachelor's degrees to everyone? Or do we need a program? We have a lot of agreements with universities. Our students do very well when they transfer. If we were to be a university, what happens to all the other people who need their skills upgraded? Who need to change jobs without getting out.
Away from being with the professional development side of the house.
Right.
Okay.
Right. We would move away from that and require a 4-year degree, which I think would knock a lot of the people who would otherwise have that opportunity for higher education out. So the bottom line really is, what does the community need?
Yeah.
Does it need to help the economy? Does it need a university, or does it need to be in a position to be able to get people ready to go to work?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Electricians, plumbers, auto mechanics, boat captains, all those kinds of professions. Some of the nursing, like licensed practical nurses, for example, lab techs, all of those. There's a level at which you can train in each of those areas to fulfill local needs without having a 4-year degree.
Okay.
And it's beyond technical education, because some people see them as the same thing, and they really aren't the same thing. And so the question comes down to, what are the needs of this community in terms of the kind of skills that people need to have so that it runs the way it ought to. And I think part of what that some people have said, I've said to some people, why do you think we ought to be a university? And they'll say, because we've been a community college long enough. I've heard that.
And I think it is a misperception that the college now graduates.
Exactly, and that's not
realizing a community college now has a different focus.
It has a different
college, which could expand into a university.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very important point.
So, I mean, the question is, do you want everybody to have 4-year degrees, or do you want people to have some of the skills that you need on a day-to-day basis, but you need them to be well-trained as well as 4-year degrees? And right now, we're actually doing very well with 4-year degrees in terms of training those people for the first 2 years, and then they transfer and they get the degree and come back. Most of the people on that banner are in that latter group who transferred and went away and came back.
Further study.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have to think about professionals, I think, in a broader way. If you're a good electrician, you're still a professional. You're as good a professional as if you're a lawyer. You're just doing something different.
Yeah.
You know? But we need them. We need people at all levels and all skill levels to be doing different things.
Yeah.
You know, we can't all be doctors and lawyers. And
yeah.
Yeah.
Initially, that was a thought, but
yeah, it's
starting
not a practical thought.
We're starting to appreciate now those technical fields.
You begin to appreciate those, and you begin to value them. They're no less than it would be in something that pays a whole lot more and that has a lot more glitz associated with it. You know,
so that's key. Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope we clear that up for persons who
I hope so, because I think it has been kind of a little bit of a
yeah, because I remember the buzz, especially around the anniversary, you know, in terms of, you know, the progress, looking over the years, you know, what has the college accomplished and, you know, what's next for it.
You know, I was looking at some stats the other day. We have graduated close to 2,700 people. Okay, for a community like that, like this, the size of this one, that's pretty significant. And they have not all been what we would call professional people.
Yeah.
You know, what we would typically call professional people.
Okay. So it's been a mixture, basically,
it has
across
been
your
a mixture.
different programs that you guys have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So what are some of the
What
programs?
if we had put out 2,700 people with all the bachelor's degrees?
Half of them wouldn't be here.
Exactly. Or they wouldn't find jobs.
Yeah, and that's why, because
Yeah.
it's about not just, you know, acquiring a degree, but now being able to be employed.
Right.
And
right.
if the market becomes basically saturated and they can't accommodate anymore.
You need a good plumber, you need a good construction person, you know, as much as you need a good dentist.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, everybody has a role to play in terms of, you know, building out the country, as it were.
Yeah.
So that's very key.
We'll be pretty lopsided if we had done that.
We will show it. Yeah. What kind of collaboration does the college do with the high school? What are high schools, as far as, I guess, speaking to them about the different programs that the school offers?
We have career days every year with them. We go out and we talk to them about what's available. Some students come, every year there are a number of students who come from the high school that are dually enrolled at the college and at high school. Right now we've got the high school population up there because of space, primarily at the high school. But we also have high school students up there that we would have had regardless.
Okay.
They would have been up there doing English and math and, you know, getting credit both ways.
Okay.
So I'm getting a leg up on coming into the college.
So is that something that we're going to continue going forward as far as dual enrollment?
We will.
Okay.
We will. Yeah.
Okay. So
community colleges typically do that. Typically, in my experience, there's always a close relationship between community colleges and high school as a way to help them get into university.
Okay.
You know, the dual enrollment program enables them to start accumulating some credits ahead of time before they get in, and so they can graduate faster.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And you know, we have very bright high school students who are very capable, and it is college level work that they're doing. You know, so right now we've got both groups up there, and I think a lot of people don't realize that some students would have been there anyway.
Yeah, I realized that, having had to attend actually the I think it was the orientation.
Yeah.
And they talked about the fact that quite a bit of the students had already taken their CXCs. So, you know, they had completed the high school curriculum.
Yeah.
So they would have been graduating.
They would have been graduating, and some would have been there while they were in high school. Because they would have been enrolled at both at the college and at the high school at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all in all, it was a blessing in disguise with that whole, the problem of not having the classroom space.
Yeah.
And it's almost as if it's accelerated that initiative now into being, so to speak.
And I think it's also given some of the students who are in high school a better orientation to what college is, just being on the campus, you know, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And it's not unusual that that community colleges have a very close relationship with high school, so I personally don't find it odd.
Okay.
and do support it.
Yeah.
I do support it.
Okay. Well, I do, so far so good as far as what I've been hearing in terms of feedback.
There were some adjustment issues on both sides.
Okay.
There really were, but things have calmed down, and you know, we're okay.
Yeah, and that's usually always going to be the case with something new.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be given a period to settle, so to speak, and then go forward. All right. Well, let's take another break and hear a word from our sponsors and be right back. Welcome back. You're tuned into the Vigilate Dialogues. I'm your host, Shaina Smith. And with me this evening, I've been having a very informative conversation, an interesting conversation about the Lavity Stoutt Community College. And, you know, I definitely confirm tonight there is a difference between a community college and a college. So, what else is happening at the college? I know we've heard about our Honor Society and some other programs, so we're going to get into them. But let's start with the Honor Society.
Phi Theta Kappa. Phi Theta Kappa is the honorary society for students with an academic grade point average of 3.4 plus. They have to have finished their first semester with a grade point average of 3.4. And in order to stay in the Honor Society, they have to maintain a 3.4 average. In fact, today was induction for about 15 students that at noon today we had that ceremony for them.
Okay.
And the Phi Theta Kappa is an international honor society.
Okay.
And our students, in fact, have been doing very, very well. In fact, outstanding. There are Marshall Islands, Germany. You know, they're very international. We've only been chartered, I believe, since about 2006 or thereabout. We have about 150 students, who a lot of them have obviously gone on. Serious program. Really serious program academically.
Okay.
They also are faculty. We've had the honor of having several faculty advisors through that program. Dr. Shaina Smith, Dr. Georges is one, Dr. Cassandra Teatley O'Neill, and Deborah Hodge are all advisors. The Honor Society always does a community project. I believe last year they did one on Sagassum. And got some awards for that internationally. So they're doing very, very well. We sent letters out to them the first semester that they're there, explaining to them what the Honor Society is and inviting them to join. Because if we get them to join early, after they see the performance at the end of the year, it motivates them to stay.
Maintain.
Exactly. The beauty of it is at the end of it, there's a significant amount of money available to those students. For colleges.
In terms of
I know some students have gone, a couple of students have gone, I believe, to Jackson State on full scholarship. That means room, board, books, everything.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's definitely something that we encourage our students to do, keep their grades up, stay in the Honor Society, because we know when they go go abroad, they're competitive, and the scholarships speak to a lot. The cost is not cheap to go to university. When you leave from here and you're paying transportation, you're paying room and board, you're paying all of that. So that money means a lot, you know. Second, of course, to the fact that we know they're going to do very well. In fact, today I had the pleasure of addressing that group, and I reminded them that it was a group of students that were a combination of BV Islanders and students from other islands. But I reminded them that I asked how many students had ever heard of Phi Theta Kappa before they came here. One had. And they also weren't familiar with, at the same time, with Nobel Peace Prize. And so I reminded them there were going to be a lot of firsts that they had to deal with. That I was challenging them in a number of other areas, but one of the challenges I laid out for them was we've got 3 Nobel Prize winners in the Caribbean. We have none in the BVI. And so if they continue to push forward and do well, I was challenging them one of them to be the first Nobel Peace Prize winner on their whatever country they belong to, whether BVI or somewhere else.
So we don't want them to just be movers and shakers. We want them to be world changers.
We want them to be world changers. We do. They'll be the first HLSCC Nobel Peace Prize winner, and they'll be the first BVI or wherever they come from. You know, so.
And I think that's the type of thinking that sometimes we might take for granted, because again, you know, it's viewed as, because it's not a university, it's only a community college, that, you know, that level of excellence can't come out of there. You know, which is like, you know, from humble beginnings. And excel to that world stage.
As today one of the advisors says, we're a small country, we're far away, but when it comes to our position in Phi Theta Kappa and how well we've done, we're not small. We're very, very well recognized in that organization. A lot of leadership positions by our students and our faculty.
That was a big gauntlet you threw down on them.
It was, but you know, it's not out of the realm. It really isn't. And I'd like our students to be thinking a lot further than You know, they can do it.
Yeah.
They can do it.
Yeah. And that's where, too, you challenge them even beyond getting a degree or getting your tertiary education. But what are you going to do with this education?
What you're going to do with it.
After
and, you know, we're talking to them about commitment. We're talking about being a role model. You know, we're talking about community service. Those kinds of things that, in fact, you know, it's not only in literature, it's in other areas as well.
Yeah.
And I was reminding them that, you know, that the sciences and math and engineering and technology, those are the areas where they want to focus. Those are the kind of jobs that employers are absolutely clamoring for. So they're right on the edge of that. I reminded them that when I went to undergrad school, microcomputers weren't there. When I went to grad school, microcomputers weren't there. Now that I think about it. Yeah. And women couldn't do this and women couldn't do that. And those days are,
Things
there's
have
still
evolved.
some challenges, but yeah. So they need to be thinking big. They need to be thinking big.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. And another great initiative that you guys have is the Performing Arts Series.
Yeah.
And I know we have a good lineup.
We've got the Christmas concert coming up in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I think I saw the announcement across my mail today. I can't remember the date it is, but I know that's coming up.
Okay. And that's running as
we
usual.
just had Raoul Medon, who was fantastic, you know, a couple of weeks ago. We've actually added a lecture series in addition to the performing arts this year.
Okay.
I think we're still trying to iron out the details of it, but we expect to have our first lecture probably in February. It's probably going to be on Brexit. Try to get some conversation going, not only about what it is, but what the implications are. We're trying to find the right people to sort of be probably more than one person to talk about what it means for the BVI, as well as help people understand what the implications of it and what it actually is broadly.
Yeah.
You know, so. That's, I think, is good. Because, and again, you know, the community college, its role in terms of community development and support for the community is all that. We're pretty much, the race series is just over.
Yeah.
But we take a strong role in that as well, you know, both here and on Virgin Gorda. So it's not just classes.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that people say to me, well, you don't have a sports program, you don't have dorms. Truth is, that's not typical of a community college. It's not that you can't do it, but because of the majority of people that community colleges serve is the reason you don't have dorms. They live at home.
Okay.
You know.
And they basically commute to class.
Yeah.
And come.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're more likely, a community college is more likely to have a baby care center than it is to have.
Which is true, because you have a lot of mothers that may want to take classes, but then they don't have childcare during those evening hours.
Yep, you got childcare from Monday to Friday. And, you know, Monday to Friday, meaning if people are coming to school after work and dropping a kid off, and they might have homework centers and that sort of stuff to help kids get through the homework while their parents are in class. You know, you got single parents that are enrolled, you've got to support them.
So are those services we're going to be looking at, or not
so
sure
far,
yet?
I don't think we've had a conversation about that. But you know, it's not unusual for community colleges to have those kind of services.
Yeah.
And you know, you try to make the cost affordable. They're not free, but you make it affordable.
Yeah.
So that a parent can advance.
And I think that's something like that would be very important, because you have a lot of young mothers that, you know, would want to upgrade their skills because they want to get a promotion on their jobs and advance in their careers, but they need their skills development.
Right. They need the skills and they need the support while they're trying to get there and not be stressed out. You know, I think our community is, you're more likely to have someone, a relative or something, who's going to watch a kid. You know? In the States, you know, it's a lot less family oriented in that sense. And so those services tend to be available.
Okay. Well, Dr. Smith, I think we could spend another hour talking about, you know, what's going on at our college. And it's so amazing that I'm really impressed. I know there's much to be proud of. And I'm glad to hear it confirmed tonight, as far as, you know, we're definitely been making strides in the right direction. And I think we will continue to do so.
We will.
And that. So let's wrap up by talking about for persons who may, I mean, again, just knowing about the college, being there and not understanding, how do you apply, or if I wanted to transfer in, actually, because sometimes you always think about it just being
transferring
from
out.
the
Yeah, you can
out.
transfer in. When you transfer in, the registrar and the department that you want to get into would evaluate your credits. If you're transferring and have completed some college, they will evaluate that and see exactly how it matches our curriculum and what courses then you can go on to.
Okay.
If you're coming in brand new, let's say a parent is interested in setting a child from, let's say, St. Lucia, and said, they've heard we've got a good program and they'd like their student to come there. We don't have the dorms, but there is an application process, there is an application fee, and so you'd complete the application. It is available online. Complete the application and send it in, and your transcript from high school will evaluate that, and just like any college would, we'd send you an admission letter.
Okay. So the minimum would be then to have a high school diploma or equivalent?
The minimum would have to be, right now, is to have a nice high school diploma. However, if you think about it, I think as we grow, we're probably going to see some relaxing of that. The reason for that is if we're going to serve adults that are trying to get ahead who have not finished high school, but they do have the experience. And the other thing what we find with adults is that they tend to be, they're not required to go to college because mom and dad says you have to go.
Yeah.
Okay, or they expect you to go. They're really looking for something. And so they tend to be very highly motivated.
Yeah.
So their past academic experience becomes less important.
Okay.
So I could envision us having admission standards depending on what areas. If somebody's trying to get into automotive, and they've been working it for years, but they're trying to catch up on the latest electronic kinds of things, then, a high school diploma is not as relevant as the experience they've had.
No.
Or exactly. So I could see some community colleges typically are more flexible that way and might have different admission standards. On the other hand, some community colleges have very, very strict standards for, let's say, nursing. That tends to be a program that's high demand, very strict standards, and inevitably has a waiting list. People are turned away, those sort of things. But, yeah.
Right. And so what's the I guess it would be the switchboard number that persons can call to get more information about the college?
It is 4994.
Okay.
It's a 494-4994.
Okay.
Or 852-7000.
Okay. And the website?
The website is HLSCC.edu.vg.
Okay. All right, and you said I think the catalog is also up there as far as the degree programs.
The catalog is on our website.
And the application
online. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So they can get.
But I would recommend anyone trying to get into a college like ours, just call, and so you have somebody to talk to.
Okay.
Don't just.
And they can explain for what exactly they need.
Exactly. You'd probably get a lot more out of it than just going online and reading the description of our programs and all of that. It's easy to call.
Okay.
And call the registrar's office to that number 852-7000 or 494-4994.
Okay. And they'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Well, President Smith, anything else you would like to leave us with?
No, HLSCC is a great place. I'm very much committed to it. I've been with it forever. So I've watched it from one stage to the other, and we've come a long way. We've got some distance to go as we grow. We could be a much better community college than we are, I think, in the way that I explained in terms of the breadth of service that we provide, the breadth of people that see us as a place to come. We really are a place where anybody can come and meet their needs.
Awesome.
So.
All right. Well, thank you for being here, and we hope to continue to hear more, great accomplishments of our community college.
Thank you.
And
how
it's serving our community.
Yeah.
If you just tuned in, you missed a great show about our HL Stout Community College. talking with the president, Dr. Janet D. Smith. And so you can catch us therefore on YouTube. Go on and subscribe to our channel. You find all the past shows there actually, and we're working diligently to put up, you know, some of our best shows over the last 5 to 6 years. So it's been really a treat to see some of those shows over again myself. So YouTube us. Also check us out here on CBN TV channel 51 on Sundays at 3:30 p.m. and on Mondays at 8 p.m. This is your host Shaina Smith saying, let us continue the changing conversation for a better Virgin Islands.